All right, guys, back with Alan Boston. He is back in his humble abode over there in Connecticut. He was here in we did a couple shows from Vegas that were great, great turnout, great response, great comments, and great questions. So we appreciate them. Alan, how you doing since you're home? Anything good over there? Anything going okay?
I live in the same shithole I lived in the last 10 years, and it's probably not changing anytime soon. But I'm happy to be home. Las Vegas is a disgusting city, and
I
the
was
less time
referring
spent there, the better.
to I was referring to maybe the gambling or something. Have you done
I won both games Sunday. That was fun. And
yeah. Okay.
Saturday I lost. I had Iowa, but
Right.
it was well-intended bet. They just got worn out at the end. It was the right bet, even though
Right.
it lost. I would make it again. I think I had the right idea. They controlled the tempo and just got a little worn down at the end.
Alan, was that Connecticut game one of the best comebacks you ever seen in basketball? One of the biggest, or
It
is it
was
just
100% the most joyous, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime Duke loses, it's rewarding. Plus, I'm a big Dan Hurley fan. I love his whole family, and
Oh,
I mean, love
speaking of
might be a
which,
strong word, but I respect his family.
someone asked in a comment, was that more of a bet against Duke for Alan, or bet on Connecticut?
No, I'm very high on UConn, and and yeah, it wasn't a bet against Duke at all. I've kind of been high on
Okay.
Duke for a long time. I really haven't been involved in Duke games virtually the entire year, on or against. So I think once NC State against them and they blew them out. So yeah, I think I had Duke against Michigan small. I didn't trust my number, and I was probably wrong, but it won. So
Okay.
yeah, it was. I've been on UConn all the time, so I definitely have UConn rated higher than the market. And some people who respect the market would just say, all right, I'm going to change my rating. But, I believe what I believe. And even 30 plus games in where I have Connecticut rated higher, I'm sticking with it. And certainly the Duke game didn't offer much encouragement, but they won.
Okay. You know what? I want to just see if they're going to go off for 1 second just to check one line here. I want to check South Point real quick on the Connecticut game. Yeah, because they were the highest for a second, and they let you buy the 3. Oh, all right, they're down to 2 because they let you buy the +3 -20. Okay, let's go back on with you. All right, there's Alan. All right, so Alan, you have Connecticut going forward. It's a line. The line's 2. It's 2 at circa +2 -02. I'm looking at +2 -05 at some places, +2 -09 at Superbook. Would you say that still +2 is a good line, right?
I have Connecticut favored. I don't understand how Illinois is favored. I don't see. I mean, if Connecticut was way behind against Duke, but they were also 1 for 19 from 3-point land. Now, granted, St. John's kind of gave the blueprint for how to defend them. You just try to take Carabin out of the game. He's one of the only guys that can hit outside shots. But, Hurley will adjust, and Hurley did make some great halftime adjustments there. And Duke did choke a little bit. They rushed some shots at the end, but that's what pressure does sometimes. And, it wasn't a great bet, UConn, but I still think that their upside is higher than most. And I do think that they'll make a few more threes than they have in the past. In fact, in this entire tournament. And I'm just not that high in Illinois. Iowa had them. Iowa had them dead and buried, but the physical superiority that Illinois had wore them down. But Iowa kind of showed Connecticut what a good way to stop Illinois, get them in a half court game, and they're not always going to make the best decisions, and Connecticut's certainly capable of that. And Connecticut does run very, very good half court offense. And I just think Connecticut's better and has a bigger upside, and I think Connecticut's going to win, and I feel pretty strongly about it. So that's it. I mean, Illinois' win over Houston was impressive, but to my eye, Houston looked a step slow, and maybe the fact that they use freshmen for lots of minutes finally caught up to them. That happens often by year's end. Freshmen aren't as physically developed for the most part. and it's kind of like nuanced, what's the big deal? It's 18 to 22, but there is a big difference sometimes between an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old. And the long season, I think, finally caught up with Houston a little bit, and they did not look like the same team that I had seen even 2 weeks earlier. So I think it was more Houston not playing great than Illinois playing great. And I hope Illinois played Houston, because if not, I'm just forgetting everything. But and they beat Penn in the first round. That was no big deal. I guess I could cheat because my mind's kind of like gone. I get really sick out in Vegas and haven't felt the same since. Yeah, so the Illinois' draw through this, beating Penn easily, beating VCU easily, who had just made a huge comeback against North Carolina, and then beating Houston easily. But again, I thought Houston was a step slow. And then Iowa had him. If Iowa had one more big man, they would have won the game. Illinois got every rebound at the end, and Iowa stopped making shots because they got a little fatigued, and that was the end of that. Connecticut's run, they life and death with Furman. But Hurley talked about how, the team's won 2 national championships in the last 3 years. And the first round as a 20-point favorite is very tricky. Their point guard was out, and Furman's extremely well coached and gave them fits. So I give them a pass on that. The UCLA win was flawed. There was no Tyler Bilodeau for UCLA, and they were right in the game with 5 minutes to go until there was a call that kind of probably wasn't the best, and Cronin lost his mind, took a technical, and it kind of just got away at the end. But Michigan State, they jumped way ahead on them, went to sleep a little bit, and still had the wherewithal to come back and win that game. And then the Duke game we all watched. But again, they couldn't make an outside shot and still won the game. So, on the surface, Connecticut maybe has not looked as good as Illinois, but a deep down dig into it, I think they've been maybe better. And I think they were better the whole year, and I don't understand the line. And again, that's probably a result of me having Connecticut overrated. But I don't think Illinois has become some great team. Obviously, since I suggested to you that we take some Illinois at a big price to win the whole thing, that I thought they could be a contender.
Yeah, so we've said it right here. You've said it right here in this space a couple times. You gave me 2 teams a couple months ago to bet some futures on, one of which was Illinois. But you probably didn't even think it was high enough. But we did take Illinois. And now you suggest.
Yeah, what do we even get on that? Do we get like 60 or 70?
So I got no. We actually have $300 at 20 to 1. So
That's
it wasn't a lot. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of money. $300 at 20 to 1, and I think you said.
Yeah, that was a really bad price.
Yeah,
I'm surprised I suggest that. But you know what? Illinois, like 2 of their better players weren't even playing, and they had just beaten Texas Tech, and there was another win that was really impressive. They went to Tennessee and destroyed them on a neutral. And I thought maybe that when they got healthy, they could explode into some, monster team. That didn't happen. They did get healthy, and they did not explode into some monster team. Now, maybe they have, and the Houston game was legit. But that Iowa game was troubling. They were in a lot of trouble that game. And there have been moments where they just have not looked like some great team. I think the Michigan game where they were a dog at home and should have put a home run effort in, they got so rattled so quickly in that game that I could see Connecticut doing something similar to them, even though Connecticut's not Michigan, because Michigan is the best team in the tournament. But guys, really is so good and established, and it's just a winning team. You can tell they just win by hook or by crook, and they'll win.
Guys, Alan's going to agree with me here. So there's our bet: 300 to win at 20 to 1. They offering us $900 buyout, which is a $600 profit, basically 2 to 1. Alan can tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you. Never use the cash out at these sites, at none of the sites. Right now they're offering us 2 to 1 on our 300. Just mathematically, you can make a lot more than that. And
they're favored in the game. Like if you bet 300 to win 250, right, that's 550. And now they're not that big a dog in the final. And if Michigan happens to lose, they're really not a big dog.
Right. To win 6,000, it's just not worth ever a cash out.
Yeah, even if they're a 2 to 1 dog in the final, which is probably about right, then that's 550 to win 1,100. And
right.
Yeah, the ticket's worth way more than. So if you bet 900 to win 6 is 1,500, 1,500 to win 3 is 4,500, right? So They're cheating us like out of 1,500. Not 1,500,
Right.
1,500 if you parlay it. So they're cheating us out of about 200, I'd say.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I thought it was a lot more than
The
that.
buyout's probably 1,100. Well, you just have to make the parlay.
Right, the parlay. Right.
So it's
That's
11 to
right.
win 9 is 2,000. At 2 to 1 is 2 to win 4 is 6,000. So there you go.
Yeah. So
Oh,
anyway,
but less the 1,100. That's only 4,900 profit. So yeah, it's out. Yeah, they are cheating us a little bit more than that. Anyway,
but
I
you
don't need
wouldn't
to
want
go.
to do that.
People
But
probably
yet
wouldn't
you
understand
did.
that.
But because
No,
you
but
like
I like
Connecticut,
Connecticut, so I'd be betting Connecticut. Yeah.
right. So for Alan, for someone, I don't really recommend hedge bets, and either do you a lot either, especially for the small 300
I don't
bucks.
ever hedge unless you need the money.
But
That's
let
the
me
only
ask
time
you.
you hedge.
That's the
What's the
only
point of
time to
making the
hedge.
bet if you're going to hedge?
Right.
Unless you've changed your mind, unless you saw something that you didn't like.
Right.
And I definitely have changed my mind in Illinois. They did not hit the level that I thought they would hit. I have raised their rating. Don't get me wrong. I've raised them to a 102, which is extraordinarily high and the highest the programs I've played to. But I thought they might get to 104-ish on my ratings, which they did not do. Now maybe they are. Maybe that's why they're a 2-point favorite. Like, I don't think so though.
Okay.
I was against them with Iowa too. Like I'm not surprised. Illinois' favorite. I had Duke only 2.5 over UConn, and I had Illinois only 4.5 over Iowa. So I was 2.5 points off against Illinois, 2.5 points off against Duke. So in theory, this line could go up because I have Connecticut 1.5 here, and I was 5 points net off between the two teams, which would be 3.5 Illinois. So
okay. What'd you think about the coach at the end going up to the officials? People are saying he should have had a technical. He should have been, all these different things, or no real opinion. It was just,
I have no idea what happened. So
yeah, he got into an official's face, like like a
early.
little, yeah. But I don't
Well,
know the
who knows
story
what was
though.
said?
They could have been
Could have
just
been
friends. Though. It
congratulations.
wasn't right. It couldn't have been. Yeah, I don't know.
I doubt Hurley's congratulating any referees. That's really not in his DNA. But
Yeah.
no, I mean it was you. I mean everyone, even the announcers who would never ever say a bad word about Duke.
They did. Yeah.
You know,
They-
here's the untouchable lowering his shoulder, knocking the kid over, and no call. And it's happened more than once. And I actually think he traveled on the bucket that Boozer made to put him ahead 3. He shuffled his left foot there, and but I don't even know what traveling is. The games are really hard to watch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the refereeing I thought was actually a little better, except for what Boozer gets away with. Boozer's great. I'm not knocking the kid. For someone who's not uber athletic, and he's extremely intelligent and a great basketball player. He doesn't make bad decisions. He's very, very smart with his body. He uses his strength really well, and he's not uber athletic. And still, he's the best player in the land. So good for him. However, he gets away with murder, and it's not me. I don't give a shit about Duke or win or lose. Although watching Duke lose is kind of joyous. But I'm watching it objectively. I had no skin in the game, and he gets away with murder, just like you did last year. It's in a long line of Dukies that get away with what they want, and it may not help them because they're a bit soft. I don't want to say they're a bunch of pussies because you can't say that anymore, but that would be what I would have used 30 years ago. They lack some. It seems like they lack some resolve, and maybe that's because they get away with a little more on the court than others, and they're not used to getting roughed up a little bit. And they choked that game away. They choked the game away against Houston last year too. But pressure does that, and he has a young team, and they had a great year. I'm not knocking Duke. They played an amazing year. They had an amazing year.
Yeah, the coach could have called timeout. There could have been some things done there.
Well, the kid should know not to pass. Just hold on to the ball. But that's what the kid for UCLA did. That Sky Clark did when they were at 6. Just hold on to the ball, get fouled, make them both, and the game's over. Instead, he turned it over, and Central Florida hit a 3, and then that fucking retard can go comment that thanks for UCLA.
The commentators in this game were Bill Rafferty, Grant Hill, and a guy who used to be on FAN, Iron Eagle. They were in shock. Rafferty had his mouth open. Grant Hill just stood back and didn't say that. Grant was, of course, an all-time Dookie. But these guys were so pro-Duke, they didn't know what to say. it was frozen on air. It was actually I don't know why I got some enjoyment out of that. Watching those guys. All right, so there we got some
Because clearly, not clearly. I mean, I don't want to sound like conspiracy theorist, but Duke seems to get the breaks from the whistles and has for many years.
For sure.
The year they beat Butler in the worst call ever in the history of the tournament was the block charged in the Duke Baylor game in the semifinals, which went Duke's way, and I don't know, Scott Drew didn't get teed up that game. It was a horrible call that went Duke's way and turned the game around, and they won the close game. And then even the Duke Butler final, there was a block charge. That was a much closer call, but it looked like Duke probably got the benefit of that, and they win the title. We get to hear how great Krzyzewski is. Hint, he wasn't. But yeah, I'm just sick of watching Duke get the benefit of about everything.
A lot of people said that there's no way Duke loses the game if Krzyzewski's the coach. It's so easy to say now.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Krzyzewski was no great coach. Trust me.
I know you didn't care for him. All right, let's go to
he
the
got
other
out
game.
coached almost every tournament game. Like, Jesus.
Anything you like? Michigan opened up 1. Now they're 1.5 over Arizona.
I hate to bet the obvious, but obviously Michigan looked borderline unbeatable against Tennessee. And they had that run earlier in the year where they were unbeatable, where they're just running roughshod over everybody. But those wins look a little flawed now. I think Gonzaga was one of the teams they destroyed, and San Diego State, and these teams were down this year. But still, when they're clicking on all cylinders, they look like they're almost impossible to beat. Now, I didn't think Arizona would get this far. I thought their youth would get them at some point, but they're pretty deep, and their height was very, very effective in the last round and allowed them to put them away. But Michigan can match all that, and Tennessee was just a bad matchup. Michigan was a bad matchup for Tennessee. Tennessee used their height to win the game before against the kind of a worn down Iowa State team that was down Jefferson, but they were in over their heads against Michigan, and if Michigan plays to that level, I think they're just a better version of Arizona, and the line's probably close to right. I think Michigan 2 is probably
okay.
What I have
never,
and I hate betting the obvious, where Michigan was so dominant in the game before, but I don't see why they won't win. But I've had Arizona. Arizona's done nothing wrong the entire year. I keep waiting for them to put a stinker in. They don't. So maybe I'm being a little stubborn, but I definitely lean to Michigan.
Anything in the it's just a lean though, guys. So the stronger play would be Connecticut.
I think Connecticut's a big bet. I think it's a very strong bet. That doesn't mean you bet your life savings on it, because it's just one game. But
right. Anything in the NIT tournament in New Mexico, Tulsa, or Auburn, Illinois State?
Damn, I mean, I have both lines pretty much exactly what they are. I will say that there's big coaching edges for New Mexico and Illinois State, and maybe that's where I would lean to both those sides. But I only have New Mexico 3.5, so I wouldn't be laying 4, and
right.
I have Auburn, I think 6 or 6.5, something like that. 6.
It's 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah, but the coaching mismatch is pretty big there, and
Illinois State coach.
Maybe Illinois State money line might be, if you want to sweat it.
Just a little sprinkle.
But I don't like it. I'm not betting it.
Okay, you're not betting it though. Alan, people are going to ask about this if I don't ask. So we're having this crown tournament here in Las Vegas with these teams like Oklahoma, Colorado, Baylor, Minnesota. But we just don't really know who's plays. We talked a little bit about this, how I didn't think you were going to have any plays on this or anything, because you just don't know who's playing. Is that the reason why?
They'll tell you who's playing. It wasn't. Colorado's had 3 starters opt out already, and that's right in the Boulder paper, and
that's why the
line's gone up
4 points. Yeah,
but last year the teams that I'm not a big believer at this late in the year that starters leaving is that big a deal. I don't think it's worth as much as the market has moved it, and I would definitely be on Colorado.
Okay.
And I'm a huge Oklahoma fan. I think Porter Moser is among the best coaches in the country, and they definitely were playing their best ball at the end of the year. But maybe that was just was that a result of them finally figuring out Moser's system, or just some random hot streak? Colorado, even without those guys, they weren't playing to a very high level this year. And I've talked about how teams tend towards playing between some gap of numbers, between a range of numbers. And Colorado was already at the low end of their range. So losing 3 starters, I don't think is going to hurt them that much. I would definitely be on Colorado plus 8.5.
It's all 9.5.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
These guys leaving aren't that much. The point guard's still there, and I think he's the one that matters most. The stud freshman had a great year, but they recruit other guys, and they normally don't know who's going to start the year. So it doesn't mean the drop-off's going to be that bad. They still have 11 scholarship players and 12 guys in total to play. So they have plenty of bodies, and they'll figure it out. It's a stupid tournament where West Virginia the coach implied he would have rather have played in the NIT, but they're contractually obligated to play in this. And I do believe kids get paid NIL money for playing in this stupid tournament. Now, why the fuck you have a tournament while the NCAA tournament is ending is beyond me. But, any opportunity they have to make money, they're going to do it. And I just don't see this as a big moneymaker. I don't think anyone gives a shit about this tournament. A bunch of shaky power conference teams getting together to make some money is not some big draw, I don't think.
Okay, so Stanford, West Virginia, Creighton, Rutgers, no real opinion.
Yeah, actually, I think West Virginia should be a favorite.
Okay.
They had a shit year, but I like both these coaches quite a bit. I mean, Stanford had that game against St. Louis that was very impressive, and they had their moments of brilliance, and maybe that's what I should hone in on. But I think this week West Virginia's program is slightly better. I would lean to West Virginia. If you could buy 2, it's maybe even worth more than a lean.
You could. Yeah. Buckeye, Caesars.
Yeah, so maybe small plus on West Virginia, maybe even medium.
Okay.
I just don't have a lot of faith in West Virginia. They had a lot of stinkers during the year in spots that they should have played well. So, but Stanford's no killer team either. So it feels pretty evenish, and typically West Virginia would be favored. I don't understand why Stanford's favored. And I did read West Virginia. I didn't see anyone opting out there. So,
okay,
their backup point guard is out with an injury, but he doesn't play that many minutes, so who cares?
All right, let's go to guys.
And as far as the other ones, they opened Creighton really low. That was a big overreaction. Rutgers had a monster finish to the year.
Yeah,
but I think it's more a result of Piquel getting his team to play hard right to the bitter end, rather than they all of a sudden got great, because their talent is really limited. I think Creighton lays over him, but the line's already been bet up. But if you could lay 3.5, I'd do that probably pretty big. It's past, but I'm just saying if it happens to go back down.
Yep.
And the other game is Minnesota Baylor. I have no opinion.
So what Alan's saying, guys, is it's 4 right now everywhere, but if it goes to 3.5, if your book allows you to buy -3, -20, it would be a play for him. So just keep your eye on that line to see if it goes back down.
Pretty big one, I think.
Okay. Let's go to questions. And
guys, Creighton Rutgers. It can't be that low. No matter how bad Creighton was this year, and no matter how good Rutgers ended the year, it's just the disparity in the programs is pretty huge. And Creighton, with the coach retiring, might actually put a home run effort in. I might even lay 4 for something there.
Okay.
It's frustrating because it opened 2.5 and the pigs couldn't wait.
Now, what Alan's saying by that, just to let people know, so a line.
Alan doesn't speak very clearly, obviously.
No, well, people don't know what that means. The pigs, they don't know what that's going to mean. So Chris opens up Sports 411 on some screens, Chris on other screens, or bookmaker.ag on other screens. They open up the lines first a lot of times on these kind of tournaments, especially. And what'll happen is, really, Alan's always said this for decades, really, you're supposed to bet the wrong way around key numbers like this. And instead, they have someone going in there betting the right way for their $500. And of course, everyone copies that line. There aren't individual bookmakers at each book. So Alan's saying someone's being a pig betting the right way instead of betting the wrong way, letting the other books copy the line the wrong way. This way you can get more volume down they jump right in. This happens on overnights all the time.
It happens all the time everywhere, but a lot of people were manipulating lines this year, and but I don't blame people. If you just try to bet 500 or 1,000 a game, go for it. Like I would probably do the same thing. But maybe if you're that good, you should try to find some backing with someone who could control the market. And it's always especially in these extra games where they take like $200 and they're betting them like 3 times. It's just insanity. Someone tried this year to have fun with the extra games. I have a hunch they had like some big out in China, and if they timed it right, they could have, they were betting like they were moving like extra games like 8-9 points, which cost us money a couple of times, unfortunately.
Yeah. That was
we're taking one on a game that closed 9 and they lost straight up.
Listen,
we'll find a better bet than that.
Since Alan brought this up, I will comment. I was never going to bring it up. So we had a game that opened up at +1, closed -9. It was the wrong way.
It didn't open. They bet it. They bet it to.
They bet it. Yeah, they bet it purposely the wrong way. And Alan and I, we had such a ridiculous edge. I didn't overbet, but I lost 5 figures on this. But to win a lot of money.
Good for you. You're being greedy, and you should have been. But then it cost you the next time you get gun shy. But I mean, you had UMass Lowell +1. I'm not doing it because I knew they were setting it up. I was doing it because I had UMass Lowell 9.5. That was my line, and I had no reason to close 9.5. It's not like,
yeah.
I mean, good for them for taking the initiative. They probably had some out that took, $250,000 on it, and they were fucking them. Good for them.
You understand what Alan's saying? We were betting a 3-1 favorite, even money.
More than 3-1. 9's more
than 3-1, even money. So yes, it was sick that we lost it.
It was unpleasant. Never had a chance. They were blown out. Like it was painless. It was painful and painless at the same time, simultaneously. Yeah. How ironic. I like that. God. Simultaneously painful and painless. That's pretty good.
I forgot about the next day.
Anyway, I don't know if you did.
You
weren't happy.
I wasn't betting that much money the whole season on anything, and here I lost like 15,000 that day. But I there's things you do. There's sometimes you win things that we don't expect to win good amounts. I won a future, a 40-1 future that I forgot I had too for 12 grand. Like not that I forgot I had so many things. I didn't know how good he was doing and he won Defensive Player of the Year or So I mean, things just happen. Yeah.
Well, you got some good people with you, that's for sure.
40-1.
Defensive Player of the Year at 40-1. Like someone actually takes that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be massive edges in those
Westgate.
things.
Westgate. I beat Westgate on that.
Good for them. They should advertise that. That's what they should do. That's what the sportsbook should do.
John Murray said that.
Crack came in and he beat us on this Westgate, and we're paying him with a smile. Come bet here.
That's very good, Alan. John actually mentioned that to me, and I would never repeated it unless you're saying it here. John Murray actually mentioned that. He goes, "Listen, you bet it with us instead of Circa." Now, why did you bet it with us? Because we had better odds than Circa on that. So that's interesting that you say that.
He could even say that. He came here because Circa, the supposed great odds place, we had a better price than them.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Come check our odds out. You'll find some bargains like Crack did. That's
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
What better advertising is it than that? Plus, they let you lay $1.09. They were great hosts to us at when we did the 2 shows there. So props to Westgate.
Yeah.
I wish I got to meet him. Like
he was right behind you, but we were just too busy. Yeah, we were just he wanted.
I had no idea. I would have stopped and thanked him for letting us have it there. Like I didn't get it. I didn't even get a chance to say thank you.
Schweisinger was the guy's name. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Circle lost.
Good for Schweisinger.
Westgate lost 35,000 to me on that bet. And of which
Good.
I had. Yeah, of which I actually had more than that, so I had 17.5 on that. So anyway, so things just happen both ways.
That's good. That'll pay for dinner.
You got it. So guys, I'm not going to be able to get to all these. I put this up yesterday instead of today. We'll go over this next week on the show. A lot of the questions. I know we got 22 questions.
All right, let's go.
I won't be able to get to all of them. So, but
again, thanks every time. I do want to thank everybody for for
Yes.
attending and being gentlemen at both the shows. Everyone was extremely respectful, except for the guy who was talking during the first show, which I'm sure he wasn't aware how aggravating that was. But of course, I overreact to stuff anyway. But
Yes.
he was still very, very nice after, and
Yes.
everyone was uber respectful of each other, and you can't do better than that. So, I'm flattered that people would give a shit that I even exist, and it was nice to meet everybody, and
Yeah.
there were some very smart questions.
How about the people that were there? There was a a blonde girl in the background. I really would have liked her to ask a question because I see her all the time. She listened to the entire show, but after it was over, I think she was a little intimidated to ask the question. She was trying to for a second, and then she disappeared. So
I wish I had noticed that. I would have made a point to please ask.
I watch her there. She's in there watching the college basketball stuff. I was upset.
No, I wish I had caught that.
Damn. So she's very good.
Because I understand people being hesitant because they're afraid they might sound stupid but
Yes.
I've always said there's no such thing as a bad question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. It may seem basic and stupid, but it's still, if you're interested in an answer, then it's not stupid to you.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I get it though. I get it. That sucks. Well, next year, if I'm still alive and still doing this, then please, Mrs. Blonde.
Yeah.
Miss Blonde.
Buddhist man, first question. Where does Alan rank Danny Hurley amongst the major conference head coaches or overall Division One?
Very highly. Yeah. Very highly. But I'm a little biased because I love his old school demeanor, his candor, his brutal honesty, his attacks on the modern state of college basketball. But notice that Caravan stayed with him for all 4 years. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And by the way, shout out to Bennett Sturtz, the point guard for Iowa, who I didn't know this, but his father said the kid turned down more money than I'll ever make in my life to stay with his coach. That doesn't happen anymore, and that's definitely a problem in the game today. But Hurley is about to lose his assistant to Boston College. They hired one of his top assistants away. His coaching staff is extremely good. They run very, very good offense. Their defense is pretty special. He gets his teams to play really hard. And again, I'm a big fan of his, so anything he does is fine by me. But I think he's really good. Yeah, I think he's proven it. He won 2 championships with one team that was unbeatable. So he's doing something right for sure. And I still think they can win this year. Like I've said it all along. I think their upside is really, really big. They just haven't got there yet. And again, they were 1 for 19 at one point and beat Duke. Granted, Duke pissed it away, but still, to even have a chance after being 1 for 19 from 3-point land.
Right.
They did a lot right there.
Ray Gray Fox, no question, just a comment. Allen's critics are laid to waste by the roadside. He still has no rival. Ride on, my friend, ride on. I think you're going to meet Ray one of these days, right? Is that the guy that text you? He wanted to meet.
Oh, that's VPI Ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never been to Blacksburg. He's invited me down there, and there's a good chance if I go to Florida or Myrtle Beach,
right,
I could divert to. He sent me pictures of his area. It's absolutely beautiful. So yeah,
nice.
He's got a doggy. So yeah, I feel right at home there.
We'll put the banana cream pie on hold for a day. Yeah. Well,
we'll do that on the way to Blacksburg, and I'll work it off running up and down hills in Blacksburg. But yeah, thank you. Who knows if there's anyone unrivaled? I think I did listen back to the analysis of the tournament games. I think I did pretty good.
Definitely.
I think few people could do that, and not bragging. I'm just stating a fact. I thought few people could just talk off the top of their head.
Yeah, even though you brought that binder with you, you didn't look down at it once until you needed to know one thing at the end when the show was over. Like, you did all that by memory.
Yeah, and I apologize. I did screw up the. I recollected that all wrong. Iowa actually won the first game.
Oh, okay.
In overtime, 57-52, not 52-51. I just glanced at it real quick, and they lost the second game in overtime. So that made even Iowa an even better bet if you use the zigzag thing. We want to bet the loser of the last game, which I believe has some relevance. I think the loser of the last game in a tournament setting has some edge.
This is from Harold Bonding. For Alan, are you allowed to bet any recreational books? Yes, he is. The second part's the reason why I'm asking it. Do you think casino play helps your Connecticut sports book account last longer? I don't know. I would say no offhand. Alan?
They're completely separate. Like DraftKings rents property from Foxwood. DraftKings rents property from Foxwoods.
No.
They have no card that you use.
And the same thing with FanDuel.
Mohegan Sun, you use your card.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, to get points when you bet sports. It also allows them to track tickets, so no one else can cash your ticket. So it's actually it's a good thing. Actually, they can cash your ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, that's alternate, but it is tracked a lot easier, and you do get points for that. So I suppose at Mohegan it helps, but personally, it probably wouldn't help me because I figure to win in the long run when I'm betting sports. But again, this isn't the old days where I was betting sky high. This is me, getting paid a salary and occasionally running out and making a bet. So what I'm betting has no bearing on anything. They don't worry about what I'm doing.
All right, Brian.
And I've always been upfront with them anyway. I never try to sneak in, a million bets on the kiosks, and that's why they let me bet. I've had no problems with Foxwoods. And shout out, by the way, to Parker and the boys at Foxwoods because they do listen to this for whatever reason.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah.
No, they were always good to me there. The people behind the counter are always good to me. It's just,
why wouldn't they be? What are we? We're gentlemen. We're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not being conniving. You're not going behind their back.
No,
like some of these scumbags who come in with crews and they all bomb the kiosk at the same time.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I'd throw them out. I'd arrest them if I could. Screw you. What do you just be honest, man? Or do it a little more subtly. Like if you want to try to fuck someone over, at least have a little brains behind it and have some nuance. Don't make it obvious what you're doing.
Brian Kaplan asked, can you ask Red what he thinks about Hurley not planning to foul with 10.3 seconds left down 2? There were 3.5 passes made in approximately 6 seconds and no foul.
He did tell him to foul.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to get him to follow one guy, and they didn't. I think you shouldn't foul immediately. I think his strategy was proper. But they had a chance to foul like the 65% foul shooter, and they didn't. And he was screaming at them to foul. So but I think the strategy not to foul is correct. Teams choke so often. Teams have struggled to inbound the ball versus pressure this entire tournament late in the game. So I don't think you should just auto foul where I don't know. I'm sure a computer could run a simulation with how often is the ball stolen versus how often you win by fouling. But I would certainly give it a few seconds to try to get a steal before I foul, which he did. But then he was screaming at him to foul the guy who had the ball on the initial inbound. Then he gave it up to Boozer's brother, who, made a mistake. But, he was just playing basketball. He was trapped. He tried to get rid of the ball. It was obviously a mistake, but not as egregious as some think. It was egregious, but not instinctively. The idea is he just wants to get rid of the ball. But of course, his coach should have been there. Like, if you catch the ball, hold on to it and take the foul.
Okay. Dirty South Syndicate. He says, I want to know who Alan thinks wins the national championship. And I believe you're going to say Connecticut, right? You think Connecticut will, if they win this one, whoever they go against, do you think you still like them?
I think Michigan's the favorite, but I'm going with Connecticut because that's who I stuck with the whole time. And I've been saying that all along. Like, I thought UConn Florida was who I liked best. I thought they had a clear edge. But when they were knocked out, I'm not going to pick Michigan or Arizona or any of these obvious teams. And I still think Connecticut has a big upside, and they have Hurley and his staff behind them. And although Michigan's got a great coaching staff too, and Arizona too, they're all very well coached. Illinois maybe a little lesser so. UConn. That's who I think is going to win. But it might be more. That might be more from the heart than from the brain.
Right.
I'll add that.
With Brian Kaplan asked about the last 10.3 seconds, Brock Landers is also asking the same question. But let me read it to you anyway, in case you have any different thoughts about his words. I'd love to hear Alan's thoughts on the last 10 seconds of the Duke game. I thought it was criminally bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Duke did was criminally bad.
Yeah, what Duke did. Right,
yeah,
right, right.
the kid. But there still was a lot good in there. Number one, Connecticut trapping and not fouling immediately, I think, is proper. They had 10 seconds. The guy's going to have to miss a foul shot for them to have a chance anyway, right? So I don't know what the odds on that have. You follow a 60% foul shooter, he figures to make 1 out of 2, so you have a chance to get the tie. But then Duke could just foul and win the game. So I would go for an all-out trap. I don't even think it's wrong just to play it out, trying to get the steal. And then Boozer made a big mistake. However, lost in all this is Krackman had the ball. He's Connecticut's guy. He's the only one that's consistently made 3-point shots. Yet he had the wherewithal to pass it to a guy who shot it stone cold in rhythm. The thing was in the whole way. But no one mentioned that. Krackman made a great pass under a lot of pressure. Like, he's the guy. He's the one that's going to shoot it. And yet he knew not to. He had no chance to get a good shot off. He found the guy. Yeah, it was like a 35-footer, but he was squared up. He followed through, and it was in the whole way. Like, he caught it in rhythm. It was a great pass. It had to be right at that time, at that spot, to that person. So, yeah, there was a lot bad on Duke's end, but there was a lot good on Connecticut's end. And no one even mentioned the Krackman pass, which I thought was amazing. It looked all rather simple, but you have no time to make this decision, and he's the guy that's going to shoot it all the time.
AZ 19153. I know it's hard, but if Alan had to estimate how many games he would recommend and bet per week on a typical college basketball season, what would that number be? I'm going to say
Alan's a bad person to ask. Alan likes to gamble.
Yeah,
Alan's got a little junkie in me. There's a lot of people who are of the opinion that you just bet your strongest games. But Alan, number one, likes to have action. And number two, back in the day when I was really into this 24/7, when you have action on games, you tend to follow them closer. I did back then. I don't anymore. I can't stand it anymore. But back in the day, sweating these games was the do-all, end-all. And when I had a bet on it, it was much easier for me to sweat it and get a feel for how the game was being played out. Also, if you have a peanut edge in the game, you should have something on it. And I always had the confidence in what I was doing, whether it's right or wrong, that if I had a peanut edge, according to my numbers, then I should be betting something. So I would bet anything and everything that I could, which is not what some people would suggest. Some people would suggest just try to bet your strongest games, minimize your risk, and go for there. But I've talked ad nauseum about how I don't give a fuck if I'm broke. So, let's get all the money out there and see what happens. So there is no number. I think it's a very individual thing. I think you should do what you're comfortable doing. And if you're comfortable just making one big bet, then do it. And if you're torn between two, then take whatever you want to bet, cut it in half, and split it between the two. I think that maybe is a good template to follow. Pretty good word there, template. I'm doing good here.
So, Alan, would you say the old rule of bankroll management, betting 2% of your gambling budget on each game, would you say that was somewhat in line, or would you say maybe that's too low?
I bet 2%, 4%, and 6%. That's what we did.
Okay.
6% on the bigs, 4% on the mediums, and 2% on the smalls. That's what we did. And of course, we sometimes went over the 6%. Yeah, what I found was when I made most of my money, it wasn't because it's just my big bets wanted a really high percentage. Like, if I loved a game, it won. So it helped me overcome my degeneracy when I threw something on a game that probably shouldn't have been bet at all. I bet so much more on the big ones that it overrode any bullshit or any mistakes that I made. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of even 10xing something you love. It's very rare where you find a game where both your number and your instinct just says, I know this is right. Like the Michigan game on Sunday, my number was very close, but my instinct was just that Michigan's going to kill them, and I couldn't verbalize why. What I maybe had was Illinois killed Tennessee on a neutral. Michigan's way better than Illinois, and maybe the one day the matchup was bad. I don't know. My instinct knew Michigan would kill them. I couldn't verbalize it, so I couldn't go crazy on it. But it kept saying, bet him, bet him, bet him. And back in the day when my instinct was screaming, bet it, and then I came up with a reason why, I'd be all in on it. And it didn't even have to be far off my number. because your instinct, again, I've said, is your highest level of thinking. Anyway, it's very rare where you have a bet that you think is completely stealing. And I think you have to go for it when those situations arise.
Okay. One more question from the same guy.
Almost everyone else would disagree with that. I'll add that. Like the Kelly thing would never agree with anything I think, but Kelly, I think, is for pussies. So gamble,
Okay.
boys. You gotta have some gamble. It's not all about earning a living, which explains a lot.
In Allen's best years, would he say he made more money betting consistent amounts per game or winning the big wagers
Just said
when
it.
he decided to fire
Yeah.
big? I just
It's
want to
ironic. I just said that. Yeah.
no. I want to.
I won the most because my big bets were just they
That was
wanted
the
a
next
very,
question,
very
so
high
the
rate.
same-
I mean, if I say they won it over 80%, I'm not exaggerating.
Yep,
When I really, really love something, it won it at a very, very high rate, 80% plus, which is ridiculous, but I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie.
No. And back then, he has a third question, not just a short one though. What was the base bet for you back those years when you were doing the 2, 4, 6%? What was your base bet?
Well, we started off with 200,000, so it was 4,000 to 12,000.
4,000.
Bankroll built, and we may have cheated on that anyway. Like, in fact, one day my partner went away, and he handled the betting, and I did the handicapping. But he had a bridge tournament that he was being paid to play in, so I handled the betting. And he called up to see what we had. I said, "Well, you put me in charge. We might have a little more than." And all of a sudden, the 12 was 25 or 30. I just went bonkers. And good for him because he was a bit of a nit, but he didn't say a word. He said, "Okay."
Right.
And we did crush it that day. That was like that was a big moment actually. That kind of like got us really rolling when I just decided to go crazy one day. But it wasn't me going crazy. It was me being me. So yeah, no, to answer his question, which ironically we just segue right into it.
Yep.
My best bets won at a very, very high rate.
All right. Cosmic Cowboy. Is there any type of college hoop bet that Allen will never bet or shies away from in general? Like could it be totals or money lines or first half? I don't know. Do you ever shy away and not even look at things like certain kind
I
of
don't.
bets?
I strictly bet straight bets almost my whole life. That's what I taught myself to do, and that's what I've stuck with. I don't really look at totals. If I read something about a team that's planning on switching to a zone defense or planning on going on a full court pressing the whole game, then I'll look at the total and maybe make a bet on it. But I'm 100% just a line better. Here's the point spread. I'm betting it. So I shy away from almost everything but that. I will say the live betting is intriguing to me. I think that might be a route to go. But the problem with the live betting, except when I was at the kiosk, I'll say this, the kiosk at Foxwoods, I made a live bet and it gave it to me right away. It wasn't but when you do it on the app, there's this little pause. I just can't stand it. It just feels like you're getting cheated. And the M Hotel did cheat back in the day.
Yes.
But I think live betting is an interesting thing to look at. I think they make a lot of mistakes. And when you look at the live lines on the screen, you actually have earned sometimes. I saw one the other day. I just happened to be looking at it where DraftKings had 3.5 even money and FanDuel had plus 3.5 plus 0.4. So you had a stone cold earn. You could have laid 3.5 even money, taken 3.5 and taken 0.4. So they do open they open their own live lines and they're pretty disparate at times. So there's got to be something good there.
Yeah, Cantor Gaming, that was it over at the end that Allen's referring
Absolutely
to.
disgusting. They were.
They got in a lot of trouble for doing what they did. They got ran out of town.
They were disgusting.
Our guy Mike Zhang.
Plus, they were in cahoots with Homeland Security, so fuck them.
He flew all the way over here, Mike Zhang.
Mike asked some brilliant questions, and Mike gave some brilliant analysis. And Mike actually asked about Iowa and Tennessee in the money line, and look what happened. They both won on the money line. So Mike probably should be doing this for a living. Like I said, his Tulsa analysis and the NIT was perfect, and I missed it. And it was right up my alley. It was an energy type thing, like who's gonna have more energy for the game, and he had it.
Mike Zhang asked, "What are your thoughts on maybe a first half UConn or a first half Arizona on both of these games?"
Well, UConn, yes, because I just think the coach is better, and I think they're going to win, and I think the line's wrong. Arizona, I'm not so sure. I don't. I mean, how many times have you seen Michigan just come out and the game's over? Arizona's done nothing wrong. I just have a hunch that their youth versus Michigan's experience is gonna be a deciding factor. And yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Alan, I'm laughing because one of the comments, the last one on this page, he said, "Who cares what you guys like? I went 7-0 my last 7 plays." People are funny. They're just nuts.
What are you watching for? Like,
Yeah, why are you watching?
you should be betting it on your own. And
Vegas Brent has a good question here.
that's a strange comment. By the way.
People are nuts. He's got 1 follower. People are nuts. He's gone. I just erased him. This is good. This is good. Is Alan going to write a book one day? I think the Huntington Press, which is Anthony Curtis, would love to publish one from him. Alan's stories and knowledge need a more permanent place than podcast offer. Very interesting.
Thank you. No, not writing a book. I was involved with the odds, and I'm not so sure. I think he captured me mostly, but I don't. Who cares about me? Like,
well, I don't know.
But backtracking, I do think the analysis on the NCAA games was very good. I think the layman could understand it, and I think and I was paid a very big compliment. There's a very, very big bettor who told my friend, I watch all of Alan's stuff because his approach to thinking about games is interesting to me, and I can learn. And this guy is a serious player in the game and a very smart guy. So that was a pretty big compliment.
Here's a compliment. Super Mario says, "How does it feel putting a nail in all the haters' coffins this year?" Well, you know something, that Mario, we don't really. There's not a lot of haters really. If believe it or not, we have 180 comments one time between 2 podcasts, and 1 guy said something. But I think Alan does like it though. Maybe not.
I don't know. I'm putting the nail in. I'm just being me. Like, I'm not right. Trying to. I have no skin in the game. I'm just doing a show with you. You asked me to do a show. I'll do it. Yeah, why not? A friend has to do something. You do it. It's
yeah. Going back to Brian Kaplan, he asked Red if he found anything better about Vegas since he left. Oh, from last time to this time. No, he was sick. He got sick this trip.
I hated it even more. The city has completely lost its way. Completely.
Yeah, restaurants
completely lost its way.
Yeah, Brian, he went to the same restaurant.
They raised the rates on everything, and they raised the prices on everything. There's more traffic. You can't go anywhere without hitting traffic. It's the place.
Traffic is a nightmare. It's unbelievable.
And it's all all the road repairs. They've been there since I lived there. It's all so fucking corrupt, and
I guess
really disgusting. Really disgusting place.
To many big cities, though,
it's not a big city. It's an old Wild West town they should have kept it that way. Yeah, they want the big city thing because that way the politicians make all the money. You think when they spend $280 million on a stadium that they didn't even have a vote on, they used the taxpayers' money to build some fucking stadium to get a football team there or whatever they did, a base. I don't even know what it is. Where do you think that money's going? You think it costs $280 million? There's no way. It's disgusting. It's got all the flaws of a big city and none of the charm or culture of one. And if you think the Sphere is some cultural phenomenon, you're out of your fucking mind. It's an overpriced gimmick.
The prices are amazing at the Sphere. Oh, I can't believe Wizard of Oz, $250 a seat. I just can't believe what they're asking.
And they didn't. You told me they don't even show the full movie.
They cut 36 minutes out of it.
Are you fucking kidding me? How do you cut 36 minutes out of the Wizard of Oz? It's not like some.
Yeah, 36 minutes. It's not like Gone with the Wind. It's 4 hours long or something. Or The Departed or so.
It's disgusting. If you're charging $250, you probably should have some live interview with anyone that might still be alive from that. I don't think there is though.
I might know the answer to this question.
No, there isn't.
This is guy's big red. Alan, when you played in poker tournaments back in the beginning, was there any rebuys? It feels like a money grab to me.
Absolutely none.
I don't know.
No,
probably.
There were no rebuys.
Okay. So the rebuy they take does 80% of whatever the take for the hold does it go back into the pool? Yeah, I think it does. They just take their rake out of that though again. That's the
I don't know
second
what
part.
they do. Yeah, it's a money. The problem with they did a study on rebuys, and it showed that the people that if you rebuy in a tournament, you have like a 0.5% or 5% edge over the field. It wasn't 0.5,
Okay.
it was 5% edge over the rest of the field. So it helps the people who are A, professional, B, have more money, which is the same thing. And it hurts the amateur. And the spirit of the World Series of Poker is that amateurs can come and play with professionals. But now they're not on an even playing field anymore. And I think rebuys are absolutely disgusting and should be eliminated. So meanwhile, they went and added the heads-up tournament to an extra day where you can actually re-enter a heads-up tournament, which is supposed to be, here's 64 guys or 128 guys. You lose, you're out. That's how it should be. Yeah. If you want to have an occasional rebuy tournament to mix things up, fine. But where every tournament is rebuy in multiple days, no. I hate it. It's not a tournament. It gives, because it's not a level playing field. If it's not a level playing field, it's not a fair tournament. And they can argue, well, you could always rebuy. No, I can't. I'm not a professional poker player, and I don't have a lot of money. And this is my one-shot deal at coming to play a tournament.
So guys like Daniel, who will rebuy 15 times in a tournament, he's doing what a pro would do, but that would hurt the amateur.
It gives him an edge.
Right, it gives him an edge.
And they'll say, well, it doesn't, but they did a study that showed it does. It shows the ROI, whatever the hell that is. It was like I forget it was 3% or 5%, but it was something really significant. Never mind, they're the better players anyway. So it just stacks the field against the amateur. So yeah, fuck them with all their greed and Daniel surprised me that he would be okay with this. I'm sure he has influence on what transpires there. GG Poker bought the World Series. He's supposedly the face of that. Like, very, very disappointed in him because he's usually he's kind of an old school soul. And
you know him pretty much.
He's always been respectful. I know him to say hello. And yeah, no, I don't have a bad word to say about him, but I'm surprised that he thinks it's okay to turn a heads up tournament into a multiple day thing or have all these extra rebuy tournaments and extra day tournaments. Yeah, when you have a $400 tournament with multiple day ones and multiple rebuys because you're trying to get some $1 million prize, okay. Most people can probably afford more than, if they're out there, buy more than one $400 entry. But when you're getting up to $3,000 or $5,000 or even $1,500, most people can't afford that.
Do you have any poker players from the old days or any of your that you actually do really like? You like the good gentleman, maybe, I don't know, on Dan Harrington or someone of those?
No, I couldn't stand him. He was a condescending asshole.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, I didn't like him at all. I didn't know him well, but I didn't like him. I didn't like his. Yeah, no, I didn't like him.
I was using
Huck Seed's my hero. I think he's
Huck Seed. Yeah,
he's amazing. He's an amazing poker player. He's brilliant. He's different for sure, but he follows his path and sticks to it. And he's also the best poker player I've ever seen. So, yeah, I think he's great. But most poker players are actually pretty nice. That not that I'm involved much with it, but yeah, I haven't had too many. I only went over the table with someone once at a poker game, so that's pretty good for me.
Where was that at?
Win. I was asked to leave for the night. Well, the guy called me a scumbag, so I basically leaped across the table and tried to kill him.
I don't see you doing that. Wow.
Everyone snaps, right?
Yeah, but
you can't call me a scumbag. I don't go out of my way to hurt anybody like that. That was just wrong.
I never see you going physically getting involved. You yell at someone, but I don't usually see that.
You can't say that to me.
Yeah. No, I got it. Alan, this is the second part of that 2 people ago's question. I didn't see it here. Do you plan on playing? I think we answered this earlier, but that's okay. We'll answer it again. We answered it a couple shows ago. Do you plan on playing any poker in Foxwoods in the immediate future after basketball season? Yeah,
I've been inspired by these world cash game poker videos, and I actually played in Vegas the last night I was there and did quite well, and then played the other night for a little bit here and didn't play as well. But I realized what I'd done wrong pretty quickly, and I'm definitely a novice at the game, but I was inspired by these players who think at a very, very high level, and they did some interesting things, which I understood on some level. And I think if I get enough reps in, I think I could beat these 2-5 games pretty steadily. So yes, I'm planning on it until I can't stand it anymore and quit again, which will probably happen sooner rather than later, since I typically don't enjoy poker. But like I said, this is kind of a new way to think about the game, and it's inspiring. I will be out in Vegas June 13th. I think I'm flying out to play the seniors and the super seniors event, and I may stick around for the main event. So maybe we could do a show out there then again.
Yeah. Bob Anderson. Yeah.
Bob Anderson, right, June 18th.
Right.
Unless the guy just pocketed the money and forgot about it.
No. Italian American Club, Bob Anderson. Boy, if you guys get a chance, he's there 2 nights. If you guys want to
Sold out.
go, yeah, sold out. Might have to go on the black market. But Bob Anderson, just old
You
school
imagine?
Vegas.
My favorite lounge act, my favorite act in Vegas ever. Yeah, Bob Anderson. Not even close.
BNT. BNT ask, boy, this is, I like this question. Thank you, sir. Because I want to know myself, where does Alan choose to eat local? Foxwoods, Mohegan Sun, or maybe a local restaurant? Any of the restaurants in there you like?
Beauty in Essex and Mohegan is fantastic.
Ah, there you go.
That's a higher
What
end
kind
one.
of food is that, Alan? Fancy gourmet?
American.
Or?
It's
Okay.
gourmet-ish.
Okay.
It's a nice atmosphere. The
Like,
music's
is it
too
like,
loud
like
and it's too dark.
Hell's Kitchen? Okay.
Yeah, it's Hell's Kitchen-esque. The food's better.
Okay.
The food's
The
definitely
food's better.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
All right,
Chris
so
Santos is that's his restaurant, and they have one at the Cosmo.
Yeah,
I think.
Cosmo. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a very good restaurant. And they have a vegan menu, and yeah, and
I like
the
Mohegan
drinks are
Sun.
interesting, and
That whole mall, that's good. There's a beautiful restaurant there. I think Todd English has. It's just a nice, beautiful on the rock waterfall.
I can't stand Tuscan. I can't stand Todd English restaurants, but
Oh,
again,
wow.
I'm not an Italian guy, and there's a lot of cream
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't need it.
Oh, that's
There's
why.
a place called the Shed in Mohegan that I eat all the time. They produce very good food at very reasonable prices. It's more of a diner-esque type thing, with hamburgers, but they have egg white. I get the egg white frittata or the grain bowl, or they have a lot of cool choices. And the food
Cool.
is excellent, and the portions are fair, and the prices are good. So those are the 2 at Mohegan that I like. And at Foxwoods, I like this Mommy Soto place. It's a Moriata place, but I went to get food to go one night, and they told me they were too busy to do to-go orders. Okay,
Huh.
fair enough. And on the way out, I told the host, I said, I think maybe you could approach the to-go order a little different, just telling me you're too busy. And his answer was, well, we're making a lot of money. And I said,
Yeah.
that's your answer? He said, yeah. I said, well, you're a fucking moron. And I walked away, and I did come back and talk to the manager a couple weeks later after I cooled off.
Yeah, you should never tell no one that.
Well,
Make
no,
it
you
too
should
much
say what they should have said is, we'd like to do your order, but we're busy now. Can you try in a half an hour?
Right.
Or try in 45 minutes. They could have put some pecking order out there. They weren't that busy where they couldn't just stick it down at the bottom and say it'll be an hour. Say
Right.
something. Why do you want to turn
Right.
the business away? So the guy, yeah, fuck him.
How about breakfast? You have a local breakfast spot you want to
I
share?
go to Little Lads in Pawcatuck. I think it's Pawcatuck. Maybe it's
Okay.
Stonington.
It's about 10 minutes from your house.
10 minutes. Yep. It's on my way to the gym. It's perfect. It's a little place and not such in a not the greatest of buildings. It's an old crack house, but the guy's great. He produces great food. He tries to be fair with his prices, and he needs to market himself better.
All
Well,
right.
it's
Well,
going to be out of business, so it's kind of sucks. I keep telling him, just go to a high school, ask some kid to do some social media stuff.
right.
I played
Yeah.
poker next to when I was in Vegas. Played poker next to a guy who has a pizza store in Florida, and he told me, like, I said, well, how's business? He said, I started doing these videos making pizza, and his business has gone up 100x. He did an iguana pizza, and it went viral. And he said, I can't keep up with the business. So
Wow.
social media that could do that. If you happen to hit a nerve with somebody or something gets exposed, viral. Yeah. So that's what he needs to do. He needs to do some social media thing, and it's a free roll. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
he's got to get his name out there.
Well, guys, we're at over an hour here. and we appreciate your likes, subscribes, and how's the success of Alan's podcast in Vegas. We're great, and we'll see you guys
The
next
picks were
week.
pretty good too.
Oh, it's a success. Yeah, picks were great. Picks were great. Everyone loved them, and
The analysis was pretty good. Like,
made some money. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope they enjoyed it. Who gives a shit about the money?
No, I'm saying they made some money too. If they
Yeah, I
listened
know,
to
but it's more, did you enjoy it or learn something? Or
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I think most people did. That was good.
Good deal. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks.